Hello, everybody. All right. So hopefully everybody's having a good good Halloween today. Some of you, I'm sure, who have kids are probably out. Been out with them trick or treating. I hope you, of course, practice a safe and sane Halloween. Always check your kids' candy. Make sure that it's just candy and not nothing else in there that might do them some harm. Um, Anyways, we're gonna wait a few minutes, give people a chance to come in. Um, Also, just as a reminder, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything we talk about tonight grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. A little side note here before we get to tonight's regular stuff. I do have to kind of correct a bit of a mistake I made last night. I went off air without doing the This Day in Each History segment yesterday, so we'll be starting off with yesterday's This Day in Each History, and then of course we'll get into our normal affairs of getting caught up on the news items for today and and all that. So anyway, let's see. We're just after 2 minutes here, so we're just waiting another minute before I go over what's on tap for tonight. Let's see. Scooby Dooby Doo, looking for you. Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you? All the stars are here, waiting for you. Couldn't have a show without you. Scooby, Scooby Doo. Hey, Scooby, where are you? Over here. Josie and the Pussycats. Josie and the Pussycats have ears and have tails and ears for hats. Hong Kong Phooey, number one super guy. Hong Kong Phooey, quicker than a human eye. Chicken chong, chicken wong wong. Hong Kong Phooey, that's terrific. All right, so we're at the 3 minute mark, so we'll go over kind of what we're going to be doing for tonight, and then of course we'll start get going here. We'll go, as I said, we'll go mention what we're doing for tonight, and we'll get into last night's This Day in Each History segment, and then we'll get into today's stuff. So, what's on tap for today, this Tuesday, October 31st, 2023? Well, we'll be going over a couple articles from Bounding into Comics, including the release window for the latest Dragon Ball anime, Dragon Ball Daima. We also on tonight's show, we'll be talking a little bit about some of the hubbub going on over the issues of South Park and how they're roasting Kathleen Kennedy quite a bit, and maybe not as much targeting on Kevin Feige. So those are the two that we're going to look at more or less tonight. As I said, we also we'll have a double dose of This Day in Each History, from one from last night, one from tonight. And I think whoever dropped in to drop a like, I appreciate that. As I said, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage with, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything we talk about tonight grabs your attention, feel free to feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I will try to do the best I can to answer those questions. to the best of my ability. All right, so without any further ado, let's get started here. As I said, the first thing we do need to do is I do need to go back to last night because um, I didn't realize this till after about an hour after I ended the show that I forgot to do the This Day in Each History segment. So we're going to start off by doing the This Day in Each History segment for yesterday. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. History! So, anyways, first off, we're going to go back 80 years ago yesterday, back to 1943. As on yesterday's date, 80 years ago, falling Warner Brothers, let's see, hold on. The Merry Melodies cartoon, Warner Brothers Merry Melodies cartoon Falling Hair premiered in theaters on yesterday's date in 1943, 80 years ago. In this film, Bugs Bunny tries to prevent the wrecking of an American military aircraft by a gremlin. The setting is a base of the United States Army Air Forces. The film's finale explicitly refers to wartime rationing and in the United States. So, as we were just saying there, 80 years ago yesterday, Falling Hair from Warner Brothers premiered in movie theaters. Let's go ahead and now our next piece of niche history from yesterday, as we go back 60 years ago yesterday. We go back 60 years ago yesterday. "60 years ago yesterday, Nick Bockwinkel defeats Tony Bourne for the NWA Pacific Northwest heavyweight title in Salem, Oregon. So 60 years ago yesterday in Salem, Oregon, Nick Bockwinkel would defeat Tony Bourne for the NWA Pacific Northwest heavyweight championship. Oh, there we go with that one. And finally, on yesterday's date back in 1996, which was 27 years ago yesterday. 27 years ago yesterday, the 10th issue of Mask, of the Adventures of the Mask, went on sale from Dark Horse 27 years ago yesterday. This particular comic was from Dark Horse. It was based on the movie The Mask of Jim Carrey. The story was called Doberman Forever, written by Michael Erie, art by Marcelo Campos, Clem Robbins did the lettering, and Matt Webb did the coloring. So on this day, 27, or on yesterday's date rather, 27 years ago, the 10th issue of Adventures of the Mask, based on the movie The Mask with Jim Carrey, went on sale on newsstands yesterday. So with that, so we got caught up there. I'm sorry that I forgot about that yesterday. Now, of course, we will. All right. Now I gotta. Boy, gotta get. All right. Anyway, so I gotta. think I kind of remembered what we were doing. But still. Alrighty then. So with all that being done and said, now let's get on to today. Now today being, of course, um, of course, being Halloween. I'm gonna now go over some news items today. Well, first off, let's go ahead and get to our first article. And depending upon the time and stuff like that, I might add an article other than the two that we were already looking at. Alrighty then. So here we go. Let's get to this first article here. Dragon Ball Daima release window, estimated episode count, seemingly revealed by Toei Latin America licensing director. Article by Spencer McCooley, published yesterday. Right, so while details remain relatively unknown regarding Goku and Crew's next outing, a licensing director stationed at one of Toei Animation's regional offices has seemingly let slip a small bit of information regarding Dragon Ball Daima's production schedule. I guess this is the latest in the Dragon Ball franchise to go anime. This new alleged insight into the upcoming series was first publicly divulged on October 26th, courtesy of Toei Animation Latin America's licensing director, Daniel Castaneda. Speaking to Spanish language television trade news outlet Produ, about the local office's plans for localizing Dragon Ball Daima, Castaneda first touched upon the series episode count and note, translated via Depot, quote, usually all the productions we have are first released in Japan, and about 6 months later, we release them internationally because we wait until we have 26 episodes to start dubbing and so on. And when we can release them in other territories, which I think does seem to be kind of the practice for a long time. Because a lot of animes are like, half a season is like 13, a full season might be 20. And as I said, if you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and we'll try to answer. And I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, anyways, continuing on here, Castaneda then revealed that, as quote, this is the first time we are going to release a series worldwide at the same time. Production is already underway, and I estimate that we will have it finished around May of next year, unquote. Quote, we are going into dubs for worldwide release in October 2024. He ultimately, unquote, he ultimately asserted, quote, for broadcast TV, in brackets in Latin America, we will most likely premiere in January 2025. Unfortunately for excited fans, Castaneda remained mum on Daima's overall plot. As such, the only currently available information concerning the Z Fighters' return to childhood remains the brief teases provided by series creator Akira Toriyama. Addressing fans via a personal message released alongside the series announcement at New York Comic Con 2024, the esteemed mangaka explained, quote, Daima is a made-up term, which in Japanese characters would be, and then you see the character, or in English would simply would be something like evil, in quotes. Quote, due to a conspiracy, Goku and his friends are turned small, he continued. Quote, in order to fix things, they'll head off to a new world. It's a grand adventure with intense action in an unknown and mysterious world. Quote, since Goku has to make up for his petite size, he uses his Nyoibo, or power pole, to fight, something not seen in a long time, unquote. Basically, not since the first series of the first, well, actually, no, actually, since GT, you know, if you count GT as canon. um, but Toriyama further elaborated, quote, I came up with the story and settings as well as a lot of the designs. I'm actually putting a lot more into this than usual, unquote. Drawing his message to a close, the mangaka ultimately exclaimed, quote, things will unfold that close in on the mysteries of the Dragon Ball world. Hope you all enjoy these different from usual battles that are cute and powerful. Here's Chi-Chi and Bulma have their dreams for the youth taken overboard in Dragon Ball Daima. uh, Though Castaneda's information currently remains officially unconfirmed, fans should receive more information on Dragon Ball Daima's story and release plans at the Dragon Ball Battle Hour preview event in January 2024. So we still got to wait about a couple months, about 3 months here before, or 2 months, I guess, with tomorrow being November 1st. So for the, to get any more information, I mean, Castaneda may in fact have not even intended to really say anything. Hail Xenu and Xena, spooky Halloween, everyone. Hey there, Jr. So, anyways, with that, and I thank you guys for the likes and the shares. For those who haven't yet, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage with, that'd be terrific. Also, if anything here we talk about grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. So, without any further ado, let's move on to the next to the next to the next story here. The second story. Here we go. This one was released today, and there's been a lot of hoopla over this particular story too. Anyways, let's look at this now. Entertainment analyst criticizes South Park for not targeting Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios after it lampooned Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm. Article by John F. Trent published earlier today. So, entertainment analyst Andre Einherjar, the founder of the Midnight's Edge YouTube channel, criticized South Park and its creator Trey Parker and Matt Stone for not targeting, well, I think he should have said creators, Trey Parker and Matt Stone for not targeting Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios after it lampooned Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm in their special South Park joining the Pandaverse. Um, I know that when Yellow Flash was covering this earlier, he was saying that Kathleen Kennedy actually deserves to be lampooned. But anyways, in a recent video upload, Iron Jar um, asserted, quote, going after Kennedy right now is good and well, but in a way, it's too late. The damage has been done. They needed to have gone after her years ago, when it still might have made a difference. By now, can the brand ever recover? At this point, it's not looking good. So I would rather the South Park guys have focused their efforts on the parts of Disney where something constructive might still happen, i.e., they should target Bob Iger and Kevin Feige. Unquote. All right, so continuing on with this article then. Quote, everything Kennedy did, she did under Bob Iger's watch and oversight. He could have stopped her, and he did step in and prevent more movies, but he did not stop her from doubling down on Disney Plus. At best, that makes him equally responsible, unquote, he elaborated. Yeah, well, you have to also remember, too, Iger, no, actually, it was Chapek who was in there who was saying that they should tone down the rhetoric, trying to hide the fact they're still going to do woke stuff. But quote, but it gets worse, unquote, he asserted. Quote, it was Marvel that succeeded Star Wars as the biggest entertainment franchise in history. But in recent years, that too has gone to the dogs. And the person the most responsible for that is Kevin Feige, who knowingly and wittingly repeated what Kennedy was doing to tank Lucasfilm over at Marvel, unquote. Basically, what he's saying there is what Kathleen Kennedy did to Lucasfilm, Feige's doing at Marvel. Basically, what he's saying. Um, all right. So, anyways, continuing on here. Quote, and surprise, surprise, it tanked Marvel too, unquote. Einherjar declared, quote, I don't know. It's almost as if this is a universal recipe for failure or something, unquote. Yeah, it probably is. But I think, but if you're trying to tell me that this Einherjar guy is just now figuring that out when most of us have already kind of figured that out, like what, a year or so ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and he's a bit behind the eight ball, as it were. So anyways, in fact, Kevin Feige made it abundantly clear that he had embraced the ideology while promoting the Eternals back in April 2021. He informed Variety, quote, well, the notion of switching up the genders, sexualities, and ethnicities of the characters from the comics was baked in initially. That was part of what Nate Moore was really advocating for in moving Eternals to the top of the list for us to start working on. Feige elaborated, quote, when it came to casting, that also did affect it. There were some characters that we changed from male to female. There were some characters that we knew how we were altering them from the books. But then also it came down to casting, unquote. In October 2021, which was, of course, 2 years ago, he also declared that making Fastos gay in the film was only just the start for gay characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Quote, there have been gay heroes before in the comics. It is more than pastime in the movies. It's just a start. Yeah, but just making a character gay like that, just so you can say that there's a gay character in the film, is stupid. That's stupid. So, anyways, as for Bob Iger, under his leadership, the company introduced a new inclusion key with Disney parks, experiences, and products. Chairman Josh Damaro. Now, mind you, these are the same people who started having men dress in dresses, okay, to push the whole more than one gender on your kids. So, um, explaining, quote, we want our guests to see their own backgrounds and traditions reflected in the stories, experiences, and products they encounter in their interactions with Disney. We want our cast members and future cast members to feel a sense of belonging at work. Unquote. Uh, Damaro added, quote, like the four keys before them, the five keys with inclusion at the heart will continue to guide us as we interact with guests, collaborate together, create the next generation of Disney products and experiences, and make critical decisions about the future of our business, unquote. And of course, a business that will probably die out at some point because, as we're seeing even with the movies and the comics, you're trying to attract this one small percentage of people, and at the same time you're basically alienating 50 to 60% of your customer base who don't care for this kind of rhetoric being shoved in their face. Um, um, let's see. Tomorrow added. Oh, wait, no, we already read that part. Quote, inclusion is essential to our culture and leads us forward as we continue to realize our rich legacy of engaging storytelling, exceptional service, and Disney magic, unquote, he declared. Iger doubled down on this ideology when he returned to the company as CEO during a company town hall in um, November 2022. In fact, they had to actually um, try to hush it because um, they realized if they put it out there, people would not be too happy with it. He declared, quote, this company had been telling stories for 100 years, and those stories have had a meaningful positive impact on the world. And one of the reasons that they've had a meaningful positive impact is one of our core values is inclusion, acceptance, and tolerance. Um, and we can't lose that. We just can't lose that. Unquote. While Einherjar criticized Parker and Stone for not going after Feige and Iger, he did offer praise for the episode for its takedown of Kennedy. Quote, this weekend will be a rough one for Disney in general and for Kathleen Kennedy in particular because South Park went after them and they went hard, mocking the very ideology and social messaging that Disney has been so proud to infuse into Star Wars, Marvel, and everything else. And that is costing them significant amounts of money. There goes the money right into the trash. Dumpy money, dumpy money. Dump that money in the trash. Throw a lit match in it to burn. Money to burn. Money to burn. Disney acts like he's got money to burn. Anyways. We already the 30-minute mark already. Anyways. Alrighty then. So getting back to the article in here. Quote, maybe they thought they were changing the world. Maybe they thought they were on the right side of history. But South Park just exposed the only thing they changed was shareholder value. And they changed that for the worse, unquote, he stated. Yeah, there have been a few board members, or a few board members and a few shareholders who have not been overly thrilled with all this. At all. South Park, joining the Pandaverse, has received high praise from audiences. The special currently has an 8 out of 10 rating on IMDb. The unweighted mean is an 8.5, with nearly 40% of reviewers giving the special a perfect 10 out of 10. South Park, joining the Pandaverse, is currently available to watch on Paramount Plus, which you can get for a 30-day free trial with the code SouthPark. The official description for the episode states, quote, Cartman's deeply disturbing dreams portend the end of the life he knows and loves. The adults in South Park are also wrestling with their own life decisions as the advent of AI is turning their world upside down, unquote. What do you make of Einherjar's criticism of Trey Parker and Matt Stone for not targeting Kevin Feige? Well, yeah, maybe you should have, but again, what would have been the point, you know? Ultimately, these companies, if they keep doing what they're doing, they're going to lose customers, they're going to lose money, and they're either some of these people like Iger and Feige going to end up being out of a job, or or um, or of course they're the companies will just go under, as it were. So, anyways, I think let me see if there is a possibility of another story that we can look at here. Only one more. And see them. I guess maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll do this one because it does have some, even though it's more about the TV show, but This looks like it's got an interesting article here. We'll go over this one real quick. Let's see. J.J. Abrams' Race Swap Constantine series Race Swap Constantine series reportedly dead. Unquote. Article by John F. Trent, published today. So, a new report claims J.J. Abrams and Bad Robot Productions previously announced Constantine series is quote unquote dead. Back in 2021, it was reported by Deadline that Abrams and his Bad Rocket Productions company had tapped writer Guy Bolton to write a series that was expected to stream on the then HBO Max service. In that report, it was detailed by Peter White that, quote, the character is set to be cast as a diverse lead, a departure, the one played by Matt Ryan in the NBC series, which aired for one season between 2014 and 2015. They tried to diversify, they tried to be inclusive, and it probably didn't go over well with the test audiences. Not only would it be a departure from the NBC series, but it would be a departure from the original Vertigo comics. So, the day before White's report, oh, that's good. Good to see. Glad to see that. I just got a new subscriber. Yay! The day before White's report, a rumor from the Illuminati detailed, quote, the production is currently searching for an actor for the lead role with the hopes of casting a BIPOC or biracial person of color or what have you, actor in their late 20s, similar to a young Riz Ahmed. In April 2022, the outlet reported that Abrams, HBO Max, were looking to cast British actor Sope Dirisu to play Constantine. They stated, according to our sources, Warner Brothers is circling Sope Dirisu to play John Constantine in the new HBO Max series. Okay, considering that these people are ghosts or borderline dead, what's the whole point in race swapping them? I mean, even darker skinned humans, when they die, their pigment kind of fades away anyway, to where they end up albino anyways. So what's the whole point in all that? Knight's Edge Media also claimed to reveal a logline for the series. Read, quote, the series blends urban action, bloody body horror, and the supernatural on the streets of modern day London. Follows a young man whose entire world is upended when a chance encounter with a young girl pulls him into the dark and treacherous world of the occult. Furthermore, they noted that the production was looking for a 10-year-old female girl of Cambodian heritage to play the role, the character codenamed Akara. Yeah, Akara, I think, is more of a Japanese name than a Cambodian name, I think. Which the outlet speculated, quote, could be Astra, also known as Astrid, from the original comics. In September 2022, White reported that HBO Max had passed on both the Constantine series, as well as the live-action Madame Xanadu series with Angela Robinson attached. At the time, White detailed that while HBO Max passed on both series, they would quote, be shopped by the studio to other platforms. And again, trying to push the whole, you know, switching gender identities and all that. It's not going to draw people in. You're basically trying to attract a very small percentage of people at the expense of just flipping the bird to at least 50 to 60% of your already established audience. Not a good trade-off when it comes down to it. So now a new report from Variety detailed that the series is officially dead. Zach Sharf reports, quote, a new Constantine series for Max by J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot Productions has been in development when news hit Reeves' potential return for a movie sequel. The show had been far enough into development that a lead actor was already in talks to take on the lead role, but sources confirmed to Variety that the Max project was dead. Unquote. Dead as in basically meaning they're not going to do it. Just for those who don't understand the lingo there. He added, quote, 4 scripts were written for the series, which was set in contemporary London. What do you make of Abrams' race-swapped Constantine project getting scrapped? My guess is that it didn't probably do well with test audiences, and they felt they weren't going to make any money on it. Again, go woke, go broke, go woke, go broke. That's what it comes back to, you know. So with that, hope again, hoping everybody is having a good Halloween. You know, for those probably on the east, I figure those maybe on the East Coast and the Central Time Zone. You probably already have had your kids are already home and ready for bed and all that. Here on the West Coast and believe in the mountain states, probably still have people going out taking their kids trick or treating. So, anyways, so with that, now that we're done with that, why don't we go ahead and do the wrestling wrap up here? Got a few quickies that we could go over here. Of course, on the WWE side, and last night's Raw was the last of the live event. I think here in the States. Let me just double check that. Yeah. Last night's event, as of course the WWE was this would be the last event before they started heading over to Saudi Arabia for this Saturday's for this Saturday's trying to think now Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. From last night's show, of course, in a non-title match, Dominic Mysterio defeated Ricochet. Brutus and Julius Creed made their debut on Raw last night. You know, the tag team from NXT, the Creed brothers. They made their debut facing off against Alpha Academy and defeated Alpha Academy. DIY was in tag team action. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa defeated Imperium with Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser. And apparently there are some people criticizing because they've been talking about for a long time the potential breakup of Imperium Gunther, Kaiser, and Vinci. But there've been a lot of people critical because they've been dragging the storyline out for a long time, and so it's been something there. Xia Li defeats Candice LeRae by referee's decision. Seth Rollins in a tune-up match before he heads over to Crown Jewel to defend the WWE World Heavyweight title against Drew McIntyre at Crown Jewel this Saturday. Took on JD McDonough, and he had quite some scathing words for Drew McIntyre, talking about how Drew has been crying over the fact that he's not being shown the appreciation of carrying the WWE during the pandemic time as champion. And Seth was basically, with some promo work, decided to remind Drew that there are other people out there who've gone through similar, gone through struggles and haven't sat there and whined about it. Even complimenting, his rival Cody Rhodes, acknowledging that he may not like Cody personally, but he respects him because Cody doesn't sit there and complain, complain and moan about about such things. In a match that was considered to be more or less an entertaining match, in a trick or street fight, Chelsea Green defeated Natalya. And to finish the night out, Damian Priest defeated Sami Zayn by DQ, as Damian Priest was preparing for his match, I believe, with Cody Rhodes at this weekend's Crown Jewel. Now, some other news. Drew McIntyre's they're still Drew McIntyre and Drew McIntyre is still in talks with the WWE to retain. Let's see if he'll stay with the company. There's been some talk that he may be considering getting ready to move on to another company. There's a number of companies, including AEW, Impact, and even NWA, that would probably be very much interested in having him come in to their respective promotions. Also, the Boogeyman made a recent return to the WWE backstage, as he was backstage at SmackDown on Friday. That aired on Friday. That actually was taped last Tuesday, which he had some interesting interactions with some of the talent there, getting some of them to eat worms. Yeah, the Boogeyman, Marty Wright. Again, just kind of hanging around, I think he is considered an ambassador or what have you. But that's all for the WWE stuff. Now, AEW side of things, of course, tomorrow night, they do have their Dynamite event. We've already kind of gone over a little bit about, we do know that Orange Cassidy will be defending the international title against Claudio Castagnoli of the, again, it seems like they're building up a feud between New Japan, the New Japan faction of Chaos, which of course Best Friends faction in AEW is a part of. That's like the Best Friends faction in AEW. That's Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta. Let's see. I'm trying to. Chris Statlander is also part of that. So team, and then anyways, it does seem like they seem to be building up a feud between Chaos and no, it's not Chuck Williams. I don't know. So tomorrow night from Louisville, from the KFC Yum Center in Louisville, Kentucky, on TBS. As already mentioned here, Orange Cassidy will be defending the international title against Claudio Castagnoli. Chris Jericho will be teaming with Kenny Omega to take on two former members of his Jericho Appreciation Society, in Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. And then the main event that's slated is an 8-man tag team match between the members of Bullet Club Gold of Jay White, Juice Robinson, and the Gun Club of Austin and Colton Gunn to take on MJF and 3 partners of his choosing. If MJF and his team should win that match, then Jay White will give back the AEW World Title belt to MJF, the title belt that he stole. So, and I'm sure there'll be more matches to be signed before we get to tomorrow night. So that's all I got for the wrestling wrap up, as it were. So with that, now we're towards the end of the show here. So now what we'll do, and this time I won't forget like I did last night here. So I'm just checking now. Let's see. 48, 93, and 2001. All right. So without any further ado, today is Tuesday, October 31st, 2023, Halloween, of course. So with that, let's take a look back at this day in Meech history. History! All right. Here we go. First off, I head back 75 years ago today, and on this date, 75 years ago today, in Hawaii, as it were, Jack Claiborne would defeat Hisao Tanaka in Honolulu for the NWA Hawaii Heavyweight title. So on this date, 75 years ago today, just after the founding of the National Wrestling Alliance, Jack Claiborne would defeat Hisao Tanaka for the NWA Hawaii Heavyweight Championship. Oh, there we go with that one. Now getting ready to move on to the next piece of niche history here. Let's see. On this date in 1993, 30 years ago today, the animated series Problem Child, based on, of course, the movie of the same name. The animated series Problem Child premiered on USA Network. It was produced by Universal Cartoon Studios. So on this date in 1993, 30 years ago today, Problem Child, animated version of the movie, premiered on this date. Back in 1993. Among the voice talents that would make it, let's see, Junior Healy was voiced by Ben Diskin, who gained fame later, of course, as the voice of numbers 1 and 2 and Codename Kids Next Door, and also Sai from Naruto Shippuden. Mark Taylor would be Ben Healy, who had previously lent his voice to Ronnie Raymond in the Super Friends cartoon, Super Friends Legendary Superpowers team. Among Gilbert got the late great Gilbert. Let's see, is he late great? Did he actually? Thought I heard something that he may have passed away. Let me just. Oh yeah, he did pass away. The late great Gilbert Godfrey, provided the voice of Principal Peabody in the animated series. Of course, he was famous, pretty well known comedian for his nasally voice. Would later go on to voice Mr. Mick Spitlick in Superman the Animated Series, and E.G. Daily, who's of course well known for her work on like Rugrats, Powerpuff Girls, among other things. She lent her voice to Cindy Kerrigan on there. So on this date, 30 years ago today, the animated series Problem Child premiered on U.S. Network as part of their USA Cartoon block, USA Cartoon Express. So now moving on to the final piece of niche history here. Move ahead to 2001, which was 22 years ago today. On this date, 22 years ago today. Let's see now. On this date, 22 years ago today, the 125th issue of Betty and Veronica Digest magazine went on sale on this date 22 years ago today. On this date, 22 years ago today, Betty and Veronica Digest magazine, number 125, went on sale on newsstands on this date 22 years ago. It sold for $2.19, had 96 pages count. So that happened 22 years ago today. So with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. Hope for those of you who do have kids, I hope you had hope your kids had a fun night going out trick or treating. Hope they won't eat all of their candy all at once, where they get sick and have tummy aches in the morning. All right. Let's see now. What else? Of course, we'll be back here tomorrow night with more niche news. Of course, Thursday we'll probably be we'll be going over the Indie Comic Showcase article from Bleeding Fool. And then on Friday, RJ Carter will be joining me as my co-host. He will be looking back to comics that went on sale in December of 1939. This time, this week we'll be focusing in on Novelty Press. We'll be looking at Target Comic Volume 1, Number 1. Very interesting comic. One of two main comics that Novelty Press produced, along with Blue Bolt, that lasted throughout much of the decade of the 40s. We'll be looking at the early history of that, and then we'll be reading some interesting stories, like such features as Bullseye Bill, The White Streak, let's see, City Editor, among some of those features. So it should prove to be a very, very good, night to be had. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. I hope you all enjoyed the show, and I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. Bye.